Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here for F1 2021 Season 2. Not off to the greatest start. Definitely showing that we can be competitive, but just some small mistakes in the first two rounds, which ended up leading to more mistakes after that. So we can definitely do better, showing some promise, but it's still a long road ahead in terms of not just race performance, but also in terms of R&D as well. But you know, with Rosberg on the team, even with all those issues, he's still performing reasonably well. I say reasonably well. He's performing a lot better than we have been in Season 1. So Season 2 could turn it all around for us. As we head into the facility now, chassis department issue needs to be resolved.
Not an easy choice, I know.
Okay, so classic department led versus driver led initiative here. We can either get a 50% discount on tyre blankets, which will help our durability or our tyre wear, or we can go driver led. Rosberg gets more focus, and we only get a 10% discount on the tyre blankets. The discount's not that much, so I reckon we go driver led.
But you handled it well. Thanks.
No worries. They're actually reasonably cheap upgrades. So we just want to focus on getting Rosberg's focus as high as possible so he can perform as best as he can. Then we have the tyre blanket upgrade. We are going to just go straight ahead with it. We're going to rush it, try and get it in before the next round. We'll just have to wait and see how that works out for us. We don't really have anything to lose if we don't have it come through. We just have to spend a little bit more in terms of resource points and get a and just have it ready for the following one. So in the last episode I said we had already gotten the Spec 2 quality control. We obviously didn't have the money to do it, so we're going to do it this time around.
Some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control.
Of course they have.
Tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
So straight away another failed part. This time in powertrain. So I can't remember if we rushed that one last time. We potentially did. But we're just going to restart it. It is a major one. We have dropped down to second in the powertrain performance comparison, but only slightly. As we take a look now, our two failed.
Some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control.
Yep, we've already taken care of that one.
Team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
Okay, so the engine cover and cable assembly upgrades that we had to restart in the last episode, they both come through. We can either have increased driver focus or extra driver acclaim.
The department appreciates it.
No worries, take the driver acclaim. I mean, Rosberg's focus is already pretty good, so I'm not too worried about that. As we keep advancing time now, tyre blankets have failed. It's not too much of an issue, considering we only just started it. We do have that major engine cover one come through, so that will hopefully do wonders for our car. The tyre wear one I'm not too fussed about. We will probably be able to manage tyre wear perfectly fine. So this one now won't be on until what's that, Baku now, round 5, as we head to race weekend for the Spanish Grand Prix. No, the Portuguese Grand Prix. Spanish Grand Prix is around 4. Again, Rosberg getting us a lot of resource points and some performance boosts as well. So again, he's you know, showing us that he is definitely the one that we want to have in our team right now. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way that he's going. I think he's going to be an excellent asset to this team. All we've got to do is get a really good car for him to drive in. Which with these current upgrades, I think we might be on the right track. We'll just have to wait and see how it actually performs in a race. In practice it was pretty good. Race will probably be a different story as we take a look at qualifying. So we are already partway through, about halfway through qualifying here. This is the best run that we had. So we're currently sitting P10 with a 121.6 as we go wide, but we do get DRS on Joe, so that will help us claw back some of that lost time.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Thanks, Jeff, that's all we need. Oh, Joe gets right in the way, forces us to go wide. You know, he just move out of the way, dude. So we go slower through sector 1. We are now going a lot faster through sector 2. As we go wide again, this is not a good lap in terms of in terms of technical driving. We're all over the place, but we need to try and make up as much time as we can that we lost following Joe, with him just getting in the way. Maybe trying to get back at us for dropping him from the team last season, I don't know. As we come flying down the start finish line, a 120.5, 1 second faster than the previous best that we had. Was good enough for P8 at the time. It does eventually drop us back to P12, but P12 still a really good starting position for us. Rosberg again, like last round, P17. But he will probably improve on that in the race. More points on Giovinazzi for the rivalry. We're only 3 points ahead, but still just keeping our heads in front there, which is exactly what we want to do as we now move on to race day.
The Formula One circus has made its way to the southern coast of Portugal this week, and it's preparing for what I expect to be a terrific race here in Portimao. So Portimao features 15 turns over the course of its 2.9-mile length. 9 are right-handers, 6 are to the left, and this is a track with a lot of uphill action, which only accentuates the importance of getting those exits right, especially at turn 4, where a good line can present opportunities to pass on the way into turn 5. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Can I get your take on Haas? There have been some tweaks to the power unit regulations, of course, and I have to say it doesn't seem, so far at least, that they've been able to keep up.
It doesn't look promising for them so far. And if the new regs have hit them as hard as we think, well, I suspect they may need a few late nights at the factory to get back on track.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Norris, Hamilton, Sainz, Gasly, and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, the captain, Lance Stroll, and Tsunoda, Schwartzman, Rosberg, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi, Russell, Mick Schumacher, Mazepin, and Guan Yu Zhou. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
So there is the starting lineup for round 3 here in Portugal. Rosberg jumping up a spot in the P16 as Zhou had to take a grid penalty. We are going to be running hards for the start of this race and then going on to soft. So one stop this race Everyone else should be, in theory, running softs to hards, or maybe a 2-stop. We're going to start on the hards. If we can stick with the pack on the hards, as we make a quick dive down the inside of Ocon there at turn 1, but he gets it back. Now we're making an even bigger dive on Ocon and on Gasly. Oh, a little bit of a slide. We relinquish that spot back to Gasly. Ocon is right there with us, but we have we've got some decent pace on him, considering he's on softs, we're on hards. So early signs that those chassis upgrades are making a bit of a difference. This car is finally starting to come together the way that we wanted it to at the end of last season. We definitely do have some pace in this car, even though we do go wide there at turn 11. But all we've got to do is maintain this pace and just stick in this part of the pack. And then as the other cars drop off into the pits, we just pick up those spots and just keep running as long as we can on hards, so that our final stint on the softs, you know, will be just what we need to get past everyone and try and get as good a finishing position as we possibly can. Lap 1 completed. P11, we've gained 1 position over Ocon, half a second on him. Lap 4 now, nothing's changed as far as I can tell. Everyone is still in the same positions they were in. Ocon is making moves on us, he is gaining on us, which is no surprise considering he is still running softs, so he should, you know, have a distinct advantage over us in terms of tyre compound. But we're just managing to hold on, just following the racing line, and basically just exploiting the AI in the final part of the track here. We just go flat out. You just put your foot down and just go around that right-hander. The AI all seem to slow down around there. I'm not sure why, but that is the one part of the track where we can dominate. The rest of the track we're not all that consistent with, but we're consistent enough that we can be competitive throughout the rest of the track. Ocon is getting DRS on us at that DRS zone there, and he should also be getting DRS on us in that that final straight, which is keeping him within range of us. But we've just got to make sure that we keep following the line. If we can brake early, hit those apexes, and then accelerate out, we have we can basically cancel out that advantage in entire compound that the rest of the pack has over us. So many times now Ocon's been within striking range of us. He's right on our tail, but he just can't gain enough ground on us to be able to make any moves stick. And right here we increase that gap to over a second now, just running ever so slightly slower, only 200ths of a second slower than our actual best time. We're now a full second ahead of Ocon, heading into, thanks Jeff, heading into that second DRS zone. He's now 8/10 of a second behind us, or 7/10. I mean, he's gaining on us now, but we managed to open that gap up enough. But we've had too many issues right there with just inconsistency on the brakes. We didn't take those corners well. Ocon is now right there. We give him the space, but he just doesn't do anything with it. But we miss the braking point. Go way wide there at 11, and not only does Ocon get past us, but Schwartzman also steals a position from us as well. P13 now, off a completely unforced error there, a silly mistake. But we're going to make a move here We go off the track to go try and get around the outside of Schwartzman. Here we go, all the AI seem to slow down there ever so slightly. We just put the foot down and we go right around the outside of Schwartzman.
Great pass.
Thanks, Jeff. Back up into P12, and now we're back hot on the heels of Ocon in P11. As we try now to get that position back. It really is a battle for P11 now, as the top 10 are at least 6.5 seconds, or at least 7 seconds ahead of us. Gasly 6.9 seconds ahead of us, so we are nowhere near striking range for them. On the map it's Gasly, and then I think that is Alonso way out on their own, and then the front runners are all bunched relatively close together. So even if we do manage to get up to 9th and 10th, it's still another gulf between them and those front drivers. Coming around the final corners on lap 7, we are within a second of Ocon. He slows down a little bit coming out of the corner. We've run faster Sector 1 and Sector 2. We run faster Sector 3 at 123.1.
3.1 seconds.
Alright, 3.1 seconds ahead of Rosberg, so he is potentially still in P17, which is fine. I mean, it's only lap 8. He's still got plenty of time to catch up. Lap 10, a bunch of the front runners are now coming into the pits, so we get some easy positions there. We're down in the top 10. We are now P9, right behind Ocon, half a second to Ocon. Sainz ahead of him by 13 seconds, so we're still not within striking range of them. They are way up around turn 7 and 8 now. We've only just come around the hairpin at 5, but we just set the fastest Grand Prix so far, so it's promising stuff.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
But we run a slower Sector 2 and Sector 3, so that we're even slower than our actual full lap time, which isn't ideal, but we're still managing to keep up with Ocon, which is the main thing. That's what we want. We want to stick with Ocon. If we can just keep following him, we can slowly claw our way up through the grid. We have jumped up into P8 now. We did go ahead of Sainz, who did have to call into the pits. I'm assuming to go on to hards. Hamilton in the pits now, going on to hards.
A few tenths per lap to the car ahead. They're edging away.
Right, Ricciardo and Verstappen also in the pits, all going on to hards. So they will all be going right to the end of this race now on those hard compound tyres. Ocon now 4th, we're now 5th, and there is a huge gap now between us and Schwartzman. 3 seconds the gap. Perry is now in the pits. Ocon's pulling into the pits, going on to some hard compound tyres. Norris also in there on the hards. Bottas in there on the hards as well. We're now P1 as Rosberg now heads into the pits.
Nico has come into the pits. He's in the pit lane now.
Okay, so 4 seconds the gap to Bottas. We're on hards. We're going to run probably another, I'd say, 8 laps on these hards before we pull into the pits to go on the softs. We've got clear air. We've got front runners coming up behind us, but there's still a 4-second gap. We can maintain this position, I reckon, for a little while. It's now lap 15. Bottas is now only a second behind us. So we managed to hold out there for 2.5 laps before those front runners started to catch up to us. Bottas less than a second behind us, Leclerc 1.7 behind him, and then Ricciardo 4 seconds behind us on in 4th So it's still not a close bunch coming up behind us. It's really just Bottas that we need to worry about right now. But you know, for once we're ahead of these guys and we're not getting blue flagged. We're actually legitimately in first as Bottas. Bottas made a move up the outside, and now we've got front wing damage. He also must have front wing damage from that. It doesn't appear that he has any damage, but what was he thinking trying to go up the outside there? I mean, I can respect the move. It's definitely something I would have tried, but I feel like he should have known better there. Although I'm saying that we aren't doing too bad with this. I reckon we could keep going on this, so we're going to stay out. We're going to stay out. We're going to keep pushing and still aim for the one stop. As Bottas has gone into the pits to get his front wing replaced, and he'll also get a fresh set of tyres. Possibly onto some mediums. I know Mercedes do have, well, in the previous races they have been able to run longer on the mediums. So maybe he'll be on mediums, which is definitely going to put him at an advantage over the other front runners. See, we're not doing too bad now, even with the damage to the front wing. We're still hitting these corners okay. Braking is a little bit affected. We do have to slow down a little bit more to get around some of these tighter corners, but I mean at the slower speeds, the front wing doesn't really have too much of an effect on the turning. It's really at high speed that we will notice that. Half a second between us and Ricciardo. This last corner here, even with the front wing issue, we can still get around it. We did ease off there, so now we've lost our advantage there as Ricciardo now just comes flying past us in the McLaren.
Try to keep focus.
That's right, Jeff, I wouldn't worry about it. We're still P2 with front wing damage also, so we're well, I am expecting us to drop some places, but we're not dropping places as quickly as I thought we would. We're definitely handling this a lot better than we would have, say, end of last season. We just need to try and maintain this pace until we get to the pits, as Rosberg is now out of the Grand Prix. He's parked up on the side of the road next to just at the end of the final corner. As we lock up the wheels, we go wide and we let Norris go past, and we get hit by Leclerc. Yeah, we get hit by Leclerc, and I'm pretty sure I did see.
Out of the car. I think that's it for the race.
Okay, so it sounds like from that call, a mechanical issue of some sort. Yeah, this car's just parked up here on the side, so obviously some kind of mechanical issue.
There's a yellow flag ahead.
Yep, that was Rosberg, you just said. So Rosberg out with some sort of mechanical issue in round 3. Not good signs for our car, but it could just be a freak thing. Not too sure about that. Leclerc now has peeled off into the pits. That collision that he had with us when we were re-entering the track, I'm pretty sure I saw some debris fly from the corner of the screen.
The car ahead is pulling away from you at the rate of around 2 seconds a lap.
Okay, so Norris and
Hitting
Ricciardo
this lap, then come into the pits at the end of this lap.
now well ahead of us. 4.5 seconds to Norris, 7 seconds now to Ricciardo. We're going to box this lap. We're coming in as Valtteri Bottas has now just posted the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Perez just breezes past us. A little bit of a tap on the back there. No damage. so we can maintain current position. We're not going to lose any more traction or downforce or speed due to that tiny nudge, so we can still try and keep our position as Sainz tries to go around the outside of us. Can't make the move stick. The front three now are just pulling away from us. We've got no answer. We have to go in now. Get our front wing repaired. Get off these hards onto a set of softs. And it's going to be 13 laps on softs. We're going to have to try and maintain, reduce the tyre wear as much as we can. Or as we just manage to get the speed down and avoid speeding in the pit lane. A little bit of a longer pit stop now because we do have to get the front wing replaced. Bottas posting another fastest lap. A 120.7 I think it was.
Go, go, go.
6.9 second pit stop with a front wing replacement. I'm pretty happy with that.
One more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
Alright, back out on the track with P11. P12 we get clipped by Schwartzman. Oh, and because of that we go on the inside of the corner there at turn 2. We go into a spin. Oh, and just like last round, one tiny mistake. And we lose so many places. We were P11 coming out of the pits, P12 at turn 1. The collision with Schwartzman leading to just running on the inside. I don't even know what you call that stuff, but that inside bit of the track as we go another slide there. Lap 23, and again another slide. This time we managed to hold on to it a little bit. Across the grass back onto the track. Oh, lap 23 went up. We're still P16. 1.393 seconds slower through sector 1 than our previous best. So we didn't lose too much time on that slide, but we've lost a lot of time thanks to the mistake. I wouldn't say caused by Schwartzman, but it definitely was part of the equation. So that is very frustrating, considering we were in a very good position heading into the second half of this race. It looks like a lot of the cars now are on the mediums, so it's not going to be as easy to pass them, but it's still, yeah, we got to get it done. Giovinazzi on the hards, he comes across a little bit of a tap there. We rub wheels, but we have the inside and we've got the speed. We end up getting past him at 122.4.
There's a gap beginning to form.
We're up to P15 now. Our last lap was our fastest so far. Now we've got some work to do. And there's a 6-second gap to Leclerc, who I would assume will start making overtakes before we even catch up to him. So we're going to aim for Stroll. So Stroll 5.7 seconds ahead of us. He's the next target. And we seem to be doing pretty well on these softs. Not as good as we could be, but we're still hitting a decent racing line. We've increased our gap to Giovinazzi now to 1.3 seconds, or just over a second. Faster through sector 2 that time, so we're having a faster sector 1 and a faster sector 2, so we lock up the wheels a little bit, but it doesn't affect us too much. The gap to Leclerc 4.8 seconds now, so we are making tracks. Oh, we go a bit wide here at 15. And we cross the line at 121. So we've jumped down into the 121s. So we're up there now with those faster cars, those front runners. Or at least some of them. Bottas did a one.
Behind by a few seconds per lap. Keep this up.
So lap 28, we've managed to catch up to Stroll now. Leclerc has only managed to pass Stroll during the stint. So the Ferrari probably not as, I guess, as powerful as I assumed it was. Especially considering Leclerc is on mediums and Stroll's on hards. I figured Leclerc would be able to breeze through some of these cars a bit easier than he has. But that's okay. We just need to focus on getting ourselves past these guys. We might even be able to get past Leclerc and try and make our way back up into the top 10 if we can. 0.6 seconds between us and Stroll. This last section of the track, we should be able to make our move. We've got the speed, we've got the advantage in tyre compound. Stroll slows down, we go right around the inside, side by side with him.
Okay, gap ahead is
We get DRS on him because he was just ahead of us. That puts us up into P14 now as we run wide at 1. Leclerc being held up by Tsunoda and by Schwartzman. So that should help us as we will be getting DRS now. We get as we go right into the back of Leclerc. We didn't brake early enough, and that is now going to cause some massive issues for us. More front wing damage. This time it's a lot more severe. We are not going to be able to race with this damage. Stroll gets back ahead of us. There is a bit of a gap between the rest of the field. It is a bit frustrating though, considering we did do the fastest sector 1 time of this race, and we get a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, just like last round. We have one mistake, and then the mistakes just start to mount up. Locked up the brakes, front wing damage running to the back of Leclerc, and then we get a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We at one point were leading this race. We were ahead. We were ahead by for 3 laps. We were winning this race. I mean, we effectively weren't P1 because we had a pit stop, but we were still up there. We could have been top 10. And now it looks like it's all going downhill. We're on a fresh set of softs. We do have 3 and a bit laps left. We're going to make quick work of Schumacher. Right around the outside. That was actually a lot quicker than I thought. I thought we'd get him on this corner. But that's alright. We have been lapped. Russell and Latifi are the cars ahead of us in terms of grid position. But we have got both McLarens, both Red Bulls, and Lewis Hamilton ahead of us. So we have been lapped by 5 cars. We got a 5-second penalty. We're going to have to use these guys to leapfrog our way through the pack.
1.6 seconds.
So we've increased the gap to Schumacher 1.6 seconds. We just set the fastest sector 1 time for the Grand Prix, again beating our last one. So this could be promising. We could use these. Thanks, Jeff. So we've got just enough fuel to get us through to the end, so we should only get faster in these last 2.5 laps. As we run a faster sector 2, we can just use these faster cars here to pull us along. Right, the final sector here. This is going to be interesting. As we come right up behind Verstappen, we're going to try and go around the inside. We're going to try and pass him now and unlap ourselves from him. As we come down the start-finish line, we get a 120.3.
We need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
That's fine, Jeff. We just set the fastest lap of this race. A 1:20.3. Bottas.
Okay, you're creating some breathing space between you and the car behind by a few seconds per lap.
We're now 5 seconds out of Schumacher. We
Gap
gained.
to the car in front is 3.7 seconds.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm trying to talk.
Blue flag.
So now we've got a blue flag. So we are going to have to let these guys go ahead of us. So this is going to slow us down. But we're 5 seconds out of Schumacher. At this point last lap, we were only 1.5 seconds ahead of him. But it's all to no avail. We did get back up to P18 as Daniel Ricciardo takes the win for McLaren here in round 3.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
But we could have finished so much better this race. Lando Norris getting driver of the day. McLaren definitely owning this race weekend.
They take the checkered flag then here in Portimao in what has been another outstanding Grand Prix. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
Yes, McLaren definitely showing their superiority here in round 3 with a 1-2 finish. Ricciardo taking the checkered flag this round. We on the other hand finish P18. And Rosberg, of course, with that mechanical issue, DNF for the race weekend. We do get to take away the fact that we had the fastest lap of the race. And looking through, Bottas was the only other driver to hit the 1 minute 20s. He did a 1 minute 20.6. We did a 1:20.3. So we had the fastest car on the day. Of course, the DRS definitely helped us out with us following along behind those front running cars, but in saying that, we were holding our own for the first part of the race right up until Bottas clipped our front wing with their really weird attempt to try and pass us on the outside at turn 8. A really weird move, even by my standards. But we did have a bunch of errors after that did affect our finishing position. Yeah, so again, consistency just being the issue. We were doing so well for so long, but then we just made mistakes and couldn't hold on. And it's just frustrating too that Rosberg had to retire due to a mechanical issue. We're only in round 3. We shouldn't be having any sort of mechanical issues. I don't know what went on there, but the engineer's definitely going to take a look at that. So there we have it, round 3 completed. Yet again another disappointing race for some parts. But definitely showing that the car is now heading in the right direction. A lot of promise being shown here in the start of season 2. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like. I would really appreciate that. Spam the comment section. YouTube likes it when you interact with the videos, so just comment away. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. It would really help me out and help me to grow the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next one.